Starting off our list at number 10 is Bella Thorne. She made a name for herself on the Disney dance show called Shake It Up, and since her Disney days she has continued to headline in movies like The Duff and the TV series Famous in Love. Outside of her acting career though, she has also made quite the reputation for herself. Her appearance wouldn't be what you find on Disney. She pierced her septum and rocks different rainbow colored hair all the time. Not only just her physical appearance, but her behavior is not the same as the young girl we saw on the Disney Channel. I mean, she was bound to grow up at some point, but now she's often posting pictures in skimpy bikinis and showing off her nipple piercing. You do you, girl, but obviously Disney won't be taking her back ever again. But Bella is totally okay with that and said she never wanted to be a Disney girl, as she called it. She also exposed Disney, saying that they wanted to fire her when she was 14 because she posted a picture wearing a bikini. During an interview, she said they told her, and I quote, "You're lucky that Bella has such a fan base that we can't afford to fire her at this point in time, but if she does one more thing, we will." Needless to say, she has cut all ties with Disney. At number 9 is Orlando Brown. He played the lovable character Eddie on That's So Raven. While his other co-stars are now back on the reunion show Raven's Home, he wasn't even asked to be on the show. That is probably because he's too busy getting arrested and spending most of his time in and out of court. In 2014, he was charged with public intoxication and then a disturbing the peace charge after he threatened to kill a woman. Only 2 years later, he was charged with battery and drug possession. He allegedly hit his girlfriend and he was found carrying meth at the time. The only pictures he has in magazines now are his various mugshots where he's looking a little crazy and rocking a Raven Simone tattoo. Yes, he tattooed his co-star's face on his upper chest, and we're not really sure why. Clearly Disney isn't interested in being associated with any of the above legal charges, so I guess Brown has traded in his headshots for mugshots. Taking over the number 8 spot is Lelaine Vergara. We know her as Miranda on Lizzie McGuire, who was the best friend that everyone wanted. She took on the headlining role as Hilary Duff's best friend, but after the series ended, she kept a low profile and she recently opened up, calling that time of her life her dark years. She also starred on the Disney Channel original film called You Wish and even tried to launch a music career in 2003, but her album was never released. Things went south for her when she caught an addiction to crystal meth. Back in 2007, she opened up and admitted the possession of the drug and her felony charge that went with it. She explained that she didn't show up for a court appearance and the judge issued a $50,000 bench warrant for her arrest. She ended up pleading guilty for her charge and she had to complete a drug treatment program, but her charge will remain on her record regardless. The actress says she now works a regular job to pay the bills and she does random projects on the side. Unfortunately, because of her charge, Disney jobs won't be one of them. Sliding into number 7 is Shia LaBeouf. A lot of people know him from his Transformer movies, but he was also one of the stars on a Disney show called Even Stevens from 2000 to 2003. Only hardcore Disney fans will know him from Disney rather than Transformers. He took on the role of Louis Stevens, that mischievous little brother. However, since growing into adulthood, he's had some very interesting and very questionable moments. He's had multiple issues with both alcohol and anger and has been arrested on multiple occasions. He's been involved with trespassing, disorderly conduct, assault, and drunk driving. And how could we forget the very weird moment where he showed up on the red carpet with a bag over his head that read, "I am not famous anymore." When asked why he was wearing it, his response was, "I am a bag. Ask me a question." That was so weird. It is safe to say his legal issues and erratic behavior is not wanted at Disney by any means. And at number 6 is Debbie Ryan. She first stole our hearts when she joined the Disney cast on The Sweet Life of Deck and became the newest Disney darling. She starred alongside the Sprouse twins until that series ended, and then she landed the lead role in her own Disney Channel series called Jessie. For years she was holding that innocent and clean image that Disney had, but that quickly went out the window when she was arrested. Back in 2016, TMZ reported that the 22-year-old actress was driving in LA around 11 p.m. when she made a left turn and slammed into a Mercedes. The driver in the other car claims they got hurt, which made cops arrest Ryan for a felony DUI. This immediately broke the internet, which completely shattered her Disney star reputation that everyone knew her for. Her police report also confirmed that her blood alcohol level was 0.11, which was over the legal limit, proving that she was in fact driving under the influence when she hit the other car. She was charged with 2 criminal offenses and tried to save her career by taking taking it to Twitter, apologizing for her actions and saying she hopes she can make things better. The actress has been able to continue a career booking roles in various movies and TV series, but none that are linked to Disney. Halfway through the list, at number 5 is Jake T. Austin. He played the adorable little brother Max on Wizards of Waverly Place. He was living the dream, headlining a huge Disney show and starring alongside a star like Selena Gomez. However, after Disney, he's had a few struggles. It all started in 2013 when the 18-year-old was pulled over for not using his headlights, but then failed a sobriety test after cops said they smelled alcohol in the car. He was arrested and charged with a DUI on the spot. Just 1 month later, he was involved in a hit-and-run accident that involved 4 other vehicles. He fled the scene of the car accident, saying that he didn't want to face any more legal trouble, but obviously that made it even worse. Then in 2014, it was reported he had a meltdown at the Teen Choice Awards. Apparently, he yelled and went off because a worker didn't know who he was. Witnesses claim he even threw things at a staff member and then stormed away. He's been able to clean up his act ever since, booking some other roles and voiceover work, but Disney hasn't taken him back. Here we are at number 4 with Demi Lovato. Her career started with acting on Disney Channel's movie Camp Rock and the TV show Sunny with a Chance. After that, she went on to completely dominate the music scene. But she started making headlines like being accused of punching a backup dancer while on tour with the Jonas Brothers. It was reported multiple times that she was checked into rehab and diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Over the years, she has been very open about her battle with eating disorders and a drug addiction. She openly admitted that there was a point when she couldn't go half an hour without wanting more cocaine, and that she'd show up to interviews either drunk or high. In 2018, she had a critical overdose and ended up in rehab once again, where she completely disconnected herself from the outside world and the industry. Now she has returned sober, which we are super grateful for, but she hasn't returned to Disney and probably never will. I just want her to drop some more hits if I'm being honest. I miss her music. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Britney Spears. Before she was dropping bangers, she was actually a Disney star, which happens to be where her career first started. She was on the Mickey Mouse Club alongside Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, and Christina Aguilera. She's now an iconic pop singer and also a mom, but none of us could forget the time when we thought her career would be over for good. Who could forget the breakdown she had when she shaved her head and smashed a car with an umbrella? During that time, she overdosed on amphetamines and was taken to the hospital and put under psychiatric hold. For some time, she was in and out of treatment centers and had some legal issues too. Nowadays, her life has definitely been pieced back together, but Disney will not be a piece of her puzzle. Which is fine because ultimately she is Britney, bitch. In spot number 2 is Stoney Westmoreland. He was on the Disney show called Andy Mack, but you might not know that since we often forget that not all Disney stars are kids. Westmoreland took on the role of the grandfather on the hit TV show, and honestly he could probably take our number 1 spot on this list, but whatever. Turns out his Disney career quickly came to an end on December 15th, 2018 when he was arrested for allegedly trying to have sex with a person he believed was just 13 years old. Keep in mind he is 49 years old. While chatting with the teen online, Utah police saw he sent pornographic photos to the minor and asked the young teen to engage in sexual acts with him and also to send nude photos. On his way over to meet the teen, he was in a ride-sharing service where investigators say he planned to bring her to his hotel room, which is when the Salt Lake City Police Department and FBI Child Exploitation Task Force arrested him. He was charged with 4 counts, which are all considered third-degree felonies. Following his arrest, Disney Channel confirmed that his role on the show has been terminated, and we can assume that means for any future projects as well. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Miley Cyrus, because people were absolutely devastated when she left her role of Hannah Montana. People were so invested in her character that she was judged the absolute hardest when she started to steer away from Disney. Her image changed from what they were used to seeing, and they were mortified when witnessing the whole twerking on Robin Thicke thing at the VMAs. It didn't help her case. She was always very open about her drug use and her sexuality. She was constantly posting videos of herself smoking pot and appearing practically naked in every appearance she made. I mean, she was completely naked and swinging on a giant metal ball for her music video Wrecking Ball. Disney wouldn't accept her back simply for all of those reasons, but also because she has exposed them and accused Disney for taking advantage of her. She told Elle magazine that she was underpaid. She said, "I mean, at one point they'll probably kill me for saying it. I was probably the least paid person on my cast because I didn't know any better. I was just like, I can be on Disney. Yay." I think there are a lot of things Disney would kill her for saying and doing.
At number 10, Charlie Sheen. The Plaza Hotel is one of the most elegant, prestigious, and well-known hotels in New York. Many of you may know it from Home Alone 2, but me, I know it from the 2009 film Bride Wars. If you know, you know. Well, no matter where you know it from, there is one person who will never step foot in there again, and that's Charlie Sheen. The former 2.5 Men star is reportedly banned from the hotel following an incident from 2010. It is said that Charlie had something of a destructive episode while high, where he caused thousands of dollars in damages to his suite. I wasn't able to find the exact monetary amount of damage that Charlie racked up, as there are reports from amounts of $7,000 all the way up to $20,000, but the bottom line here is that he shredded that room to pieces. He broke mirrors, TVs, and even reportedly had a woman hiding in his room screaming. The situation was so bad that police had to be called to escort the actor from the premises, and he's been permanently banned from the hotel ever since. Coming in at number 9, Kris Jenner. The Kardashian/Jenner clan are amongst the biggest and most famous A-list celebrities in Hollywood. Love them or hate them, they're still some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, so you'd think that they'd be invited to all of the hottest parties, but no. Turns out there's at least one event that the Kardashians are not welcome to attend, and those are Oscar parties. If you can believe it, the Kardashians have been banned from all Oscar parties, and it's all Kris Jenner's fault. According to reports, Kris Jenner had been invited to an Oscars bash in the past until one event where she reportedly got drunk and was involved in some unacceptable behavior. This made the studio who was hosting the party look bad, so they issued a ban on the Kardashians. The reality family is known for being a little problematic, so the Oscars rep said none of that here, and they just won't welcome them back. But can you really blame them? Now, before I get into the rest of the video, I would like to ask you guys to leave a like on this video. It really helps out if you do, so if you're enjoying the video so far, please smash that like. In at number 8, Chris Brown. Chris Brown has a bit of a temper, as a few of you may already know, so it's no surprise that he's been banned from somewhere for being a bit unruly and aggressive. Chris is now banned from the Lifetime Athletic chain of gyms and fitness centers after his encounter with a manager from one of their New York City locations. Reports say that Chris and his friends were in a game of basketball when they started getting loud and unruly and started swearing at each other. As the manager came in to speak to the group and asked them to tone down their voices and music, that's when Chris got angry. According to TMZ, Chris, quote, went ballistic, screaming and swearing at the woman. Chris and his friends were then asked to leave, and Chris reportedly spat on the door on his way out. I mean, dude, all you had to do was stop being so loud and you could have finished your game. Now there is no game to be had. At number 7, Madonna. It seems like Madonna has a record of being on her phone at inappropriate moments, and this is exactly what's led to getting her banned in a few places. First, let's talk about how the pop singer was sort of banned from the Alamo Drafthouse Theater. Back in 2013, Madonna was called out by a film critic during a screening of the film 12 Years a Slave. The critic wrote about how Madonna was texting during the first half of the film, and when the theater got a hold of this information, they issued a statement saying that she would be banned from the theater until she issues an apology. Now, after the scrutiny that she faced in 2013 at the movies, you'd think that she'd have learned her lesson from that, but oh no. She was also reportedly banned from seeing the Hamilton musical after she was caught by one of the show's stars, Jonathan Groff, for also being on her phone during the production. As a die-hard Hamilton fan, that hurts me to think that she'd disrespect that wonderful musical with her stupid texting. Lin-Manuel Miranda is more important than whoever you're texting, Madonna. Coming in at number 6, Blake Lively. Blake Lively once experienced the wrath of Disney after trying to sneak into Disneyland. In an interview with David Letterman, she revealed that when she was a kid, she and her brother tried sneaking into the theme park. Blake revealed that their plan of action was to take wristbands of people who had left the park and put hairspray on them in order to transfer the barcode onto themselves. They scanned through and got past the gates only to be met with park security. Disney does not play around. The actress said that she and her brother were taken to Disney jail, where they were given a 1-year ban from the park. Luckily, after their year ban was up, they were allowed to return to the park with no problem, but I'm sure she never tried to sneak in anywhere again. Halfway through at number 5, Nicki Minaj. Sometimes fans can be a little too much, and Nicki Minaj knows that feeling all too well. The rapper was kicked out of and banned from the Dorchester Hotel in London after her fans, or as she calls them, barbs, became too much for the hotel staff to handle. After arriving at the hotel, Nicki's fans swarmed the place, hoping to catch a glimpse of their music icon. It was reported that though they were asked to leave by hotel staff staff and security, they just wouldn't budge and even started tagging the hotel elevator with graffiti. There were fans camping outside of the hotel, and it was even reported that a fight broke out, resulting in an ambulance having to be called to the area. Staff were really just fed up with the Barb's antics and asked Nicki and her team to find another venue and banned her from the hotel as a result. Even though Nicki has said that she and her fans are a package deal, I don't think the hotels and venues like that idea very much. At number 4, Lindsay Lohan. Speaking of hotels, it turns out Lindsay Lohan was also banned from a hotel, this time being the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. It was reported that the hotel had asked Lindsay to remove her belongings and leave the premises after she was unable to settle her $46,000 hotel bill. Yeah. Lohan, who had been staying at the hotel for 2 months, had racked up a bill totaling $46,350, and she received a letter from the hotel's general manager which said, quote, "As we have made repeated attempts to resolve this pressing matter over the last few weeks without any resolution, I regret to inform you that we are no longer able to extend any further credit for you to remain in the hotel. Please have all of your belongings removed from Suite 33 by 12 p.m. Wednesday, August 1st, 2012. They also sent her a list of expenses from the hotel, and let me tell you, that list is long. Like several pages of bills. Over the course of her stay, she racked up thousands of dollars worth of cigarettes, minibar items, and dining expenses as well. She's since been able to settle her debts with the hotel, but she really evaded that one for a while. Over $40,000! My god. Coming in at number 3, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, the great-granddaughter of the founder of the Hilton Hotels, has ironically been banned from a hotel that luckily isn't one of her namesakes. In 2010, Paris was banned from 2 Wynn Resort hotels in Las Vegas after an incident occurred which led to police catching the heiress with just under a gram of no snow in her purse. It is said that police caught Hilton red-handed as she was looking through her purse for lip balm, and then that's when the bag of no sugar fell out. As one would, she tried to cover her butt by saying that she borrowed the purse from a friend and that it wasn't actually hers, but police didn't believe her and she was arrested for the felony possession charge. This incident didn't just get her banned from the hotel either, she was also banned from the country of Japan because of her drug charge. The country's immigration department has a very strict rule against letting anyone with a criminal record in. So guys, just don't do drugs. Just don't. Especially if you want to go to Japan. At number 2, Ariana Grande. Do you guys remember that Ariana Grande donut incident? That one was really buried deep in my brain until I read this story again. For those who have no clue what I'm talking about, in 2015, Ariana Grande was caught licking a donut on display at a donut shop called Wolfie Donuts in Lake Elsinore, California. She and her friends were visiting the shop when they dared the pop star to lick the donut. Seems harmless enough until the footage of that incident was posted online. She was also captured making some less than friendly remarks about Americans for some reason. Once she was exposed on social media for her behavior, she issued an apology to her fans and to the bakery for her actions. It was also reported that the bakery's owner had originally wanted to press charges but decided against it in the end. But instead, she's been banned from the establishment ever since. Finally, at number 1, Lil Wayne. Turns out Lil Wayne has quite a rocky past when it comes to the NBA. In 2012, he was denied entry to an Oklahoma City Thunder's game after what seemed to have been a ticketing mix-up. And then in 2013, there was an altercation during a Lakers vs Heat game that left him not only banned from the game, but just banned from all NBA events. Apparently, the rapper got into a verbal altercation with a fan in the stands, and this outburst led to him gesturing to the fan that he had a gun. This led to him allegedly leaving the stadium on his own accord and being banned from all NBA events. Just to make matters worse, he then went on a Twitter rampage, as one does, saying some NSFW stuff about the NBA and Chris Bosh's wife. Way to leave things on good terms, dude.
Starting off at number 10, we have Adrien Brody. Adrien Brody is a well-respected dramatic actor, winning the Oscar in 2002 for the Best Actor in The Pianist, with him kissing presenter Halle Berry on stage. Then on the heels of his new fame, he was asked to host SNL in 2003. And when he was introducing the musical guest, Jamaican singer Sean Paul, he not only made everyone cringe with embarrassment, but he also broke one of the golden rules of live TV. For the introduction, Brody took it upon himself to grab a dreadlock wig and ramble in a problematic Jamaican accent for way too long before handing things off. And even though the Jamaican accent was offensive and he probably should have been banned for just that, the bit wasn't planned and he ended up wasting a lot of valuable airtime, which caused the ban. Brody spoke about the ban with the Huffington Post and said that he might be banned, but he never heard anything official about it. In at number 9, Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor was asked to perform on SNL in 1990, in the peak of her fame, but she ended up bailing when she realized comedian Andrew Dice Clay was going to be hosting. And although it put a wrinkle in things, they were still able to manage. O'Connor finally performed on SNL in October of 1992, but SNL was probably wishing that she didn't, because O'Connor ended the performance by holding up a picture of Pope John Paul II, ripping it up and stating, quote, "Fight the real enemy," obviously offending millions of people. The show quickly cut after they saw what happened, but the damage was already done and tons of angry calls came in. One audience member tried to assault O'Connor and had to be removed by security. Unsurprisingly, O'Connor never played SNL again. Wonder why? In at number 8, Kanye West. It's no shock that Kanye's banned. Honestly, I'm shocked he's not banned from everything at this point. Before the ban, West appeared on the show 7 times and always managed to bring an incredibly thought out performance to the show. West is even held in such high regards that SNL producers allowed him in a rare third performance segment in that particular episode. But they were shocked when instead of playing a song, he made an entire speech praising President Trump while wearing one of his mega hats. NBC cut the speech short for viewers, and the outburst was not received well by the live audience members. Not long after, West claimed on Twitter that SNL producer Lorne Michaels had asked him to return to, quote, "host before the year is out." But according to Radar Online, Kanye was actually banned instead, and the latter seems a lot more likely to me. In at number 7, David Bowie. In 1997, David Bowie was banned, and from what happened, he totally deserved it. Basically, he was asked to be the musical guest, and he was gonna act in a sketch too, but they made a sketch where Bowie would sing parodies of his own songs. Bowie told Post, quote, "One of the things they came up with was a version of my song, Watch That Man, but instead in the chorus I would sing Try Our Flan." Apparently the writers and Bowie fought over the pronunciation of the word flan though. Flan? I could be messing it up right now. And literally during the broadcast, Bowie said he wasn't gonna do the skit anymore, and he wanted to change the song he was performing. Instead of performing, quote, "Telling Lies" as rehearsed, Bowie played his 1980 track Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. And the reason is really awful. Apparently Lorne Michaels told Bowie that the song reminded him of a very dark time in his life, and I guess the reason Bowie played it was out of spite. Apparently, as soon as the song was over, Bowie claimed he was escorted from the building and banned from SNL. However, in late 1999, he was back as a musical guest after apparently smoothing things over with Michaels, saying, quote, "We're mates. He knows now that I was just trying to get a rise out of him." And at number 6, Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence's monologue on SNL was so bad that a section of it was actually removed from the live broadcast because the network wouldn't let it air. And if you're wondering what kind of stuff is so bad it won't get aired on television, well, his monologue was talking about genital hygiene of intimate areas, specifically of female intimate areas. And the whole thing was just really crass and explicit. When the episode aired later that night for West Coast viewers, NBC cut out the portion of the monologue and replaced it with text explaining the gist of Lawrence's commentary and how, quote, network policy prevents any rebroadcasting of that routine. The rest of the show went on as usual, but Lawrence was obviously banned from the show right after. Halfway number 5, Cypress Hill. The group Cypress Hill was known for a lot of things back in the day. One in particular was their love of smoking weed. And apparently even though they were told not to touch the substance the night they were on the show, they of course did. Member DJ Muggs said he, quote, felt like he needed to make a statement with his performance, and that came in the form of him smoking on live TV. And this was back in 1993 when TV was a whole lot different than it is now. Muggs asked Sen Dog to light the joint, but he refused, so Muggs just did it himself. The group claims that the SNL cast came up to them right after and told them how cool they thought the stunt was, but obviously this is live TV people, and the network was not happy, resulting in a lifelong ban from the show. And at number 4, The Replacements. The band The Replacements made fools out of themselves during their performance on SNL, and that was because the band was totally sloshed while performing. Apparently it was a pre-show ritual for them to drink before performing, but SNL has a dry set, so they don't allow alcohol beforehand. Apparently the band got around this by having their sound guy sneak in booze after a pre-show sound check, and by the time they went on, they were hammered. And it was very easy to tell from the footage of the performance. The lead singer wandered away from the mic, the bassist was stumbling, and the guitarist was late to start his solo. So the lead singer actually yelled kind of into the mic, "Come on, effer."
to cue him, which was picked up by the mic. And just when it couldn't get any worse, one of the guys ripped their pants at the very end with their rear end out for the world to see. The guys even trashed their hotel room after, that was paid for by SNL. So, I mean, yeah, obviously they were banned after that. That's like 4 strikes against them. In at number 3, Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa was a special type of musician that often infused humor into his music, which made him a great fit for Saturday Night Live, where he was asked to host and be the musical guest in October of 1978. But his performance was so bad, SNL writer and performer Don Novello called it, quote, one of the worst ever. Apparently the final dress rehearsal before the show went so bad that Zappa tried to change his entire approach to the show, but he didn't tell anyone else. And apparently his strategy was to somewhat make fun of the show itself and made the audience aware when things were scripted, with someone from the cast saying, quote, he read the cue cards like he was reading the cards, like he made a point of it. That was his approach to the humor. No one else in the sketches knew it. SNL producer Lorne Michaels did not like the unapproved take on their material and never let him come back. And at number 2, Elvis Costello. Elvis Costello broke one of the major rules of SNL, and that is going against Lorne Michaels. And he paid the price by getting banned. A December 1977 episode featured Elvis Costello as the musical guest, and he played Watching the Detectives in his first slot. Then in his second slot, he started playing Less Than Zero, but then decided to change his mind midway through the song. He told the band to stop playing and told the audience, quote, I'm sorry ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to do this song here. He then decided to play Radio Radio, which is one song he was told not to play because of how critical of mass media the song is. And because he stopped the show and changed the song, he was banned. However, it wasn't lifelong, and Michaels let him back in 1989. And even joked about getting banned on SNL's 25th anniversary show, so it seems like it all ended well. And finally, number 1, Andy Kaufman. This is a crazy one because Andy got himself banned. So the situation here was that he was put on the show back in 1975 and he managed to gain an audience off of the show. So SNL had him back many times over the years, with him appearing 10 times in the late 70s and early 80s. But one of his bits went south when it had lifelong consequences. Basically, in one skit, he told an SNL producer to read a statement on air in 1982 explaining that Kaufman's scheduled appearance had been cancelled because, quote, Andy Kaufman is not funny anymore. Then the viewers were told to decide Andy's fate, with them able to vote on if he would be banned from the show or not. And sadly for Andy, they voted to ban him for life. The self-imposed ban was never lifted, and he never performed again until he passed away in 1984. And at number 10, Donald Trump. Donald Trump attended the Met Gala numerous times with his wife Melania in the past, because New York socialites and even political figures are often invited to the Met. However, after he became president and enacted very controversial laws, he was banned from ever attending again. Many rumored he might be banned after many controversial statements, but this is one of the few people that Anna Wintour herself actually confirmed will not be invited back. And if you didn't already know, Wintour has been the editor-in-chief of Vogue since 1988, and she handpicks every person who is invited to the Met Ball. When Anna was asked during a segment of James Corden's Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts who she would never invite back to the Met again, she swiftly replied, Donald Trump. And at number 9, Kim Kardashian. These days it's hard to imagine a Met Gala without Kim Kardashian. When Kim was just known as a reality star back in the day, Anna revealed that she would not be inviting her to the Met. Apparently in 2012, Anna was adamant about not inviting Kim to keep the prestige of the event. A source even told Page 6 that, quote, Anna hates Kim. However, that all changed in 2013 when Kanye brought a pregnant Kim Kardashian to the Met Gala as his guest, which is something that Anna could not refuse. Since then, Kim has become a staple in high fashion and elevated her brand to be one of the most influential people in the world. And these days, the fashion world cannot ignore the Kardashian influence, and multiple Kardashian sisters are invited to the Met each year. And at number 8, Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn is incredibly well known in the fashion world and is somewhat of a staple on fashion television, as he starred in shows like Making the Cut and Project Runway. But even though he is fashion royalty, he said the wrong thing about Anna Wintour and has paid the price with his invite being permanently revoked. In 2006, Gunn was asked to recall the most unforgettable thing he's seen in fashion by the New York Post, and he answered, quote, watching Anna Wintour being carried down 5 flights of stairs by 2 bodyguards from a fashion show. Anna didn't like these comments, so Vogue asked for a retraction, but he refused, and his invite was taken as a result. He's claimed that he's been in a war with Anna and her team ever since. And at number 7, Khloe Kardashian. Most of the Kardashians get invited to the Met every year, with Kim, Kendall, and Kylie being staples at the event. Even Kris Jenner gets invited most of the time. However, neither Kourtney or Khloe have ever attended a Met ball. Apparently that's because Khloe is banned and Kourtney has never been relevant enough to grace the very A-list event. But it was rumored that Kourtney and her boyfriend Travis Barker were actually invited to the esteemed event this year, which would have been Kourtney's first Met, but Kourtney decided not to go for the sake of Khloe. A source said, quote, Khloe and Kourtney have never been invited to the Met Gala, but Kourtney was invited to this one and chose to stay home with Khloe because she didn't want to leave her alone. Another part of this is that the Met is known to be Kim's event, and she prefers that her sisters do not go so she can shine solo. If you're wondering why Khloe gets the cold shoulder, apparently she's too C-list for the event. And at number 6, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj went viral on the night of the Met because she tweeted that she didn't attend the event because of the vaccine requirement. She tweeted during the event, quote, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel that I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe, wear the mask with 2 strings that grips your head and face, not that loose one. She added in a follow-up tweet that her cousin in Trinidad won't get it because his friend got the vaccine and became impotent after, finishing, quote, so just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. And I can assume that after calling out the event for their mandate, she will not be asked back. Halfway at number 5, Coco Rocha. Coco Rocha is one of the most well-known models ever, so it's strange that she never attends the Met anymore. But apparently Katy Perry is the reason that she's been blacklisted. In 2017, Katy Perry was one of the co-chairs of the event, which means she has an elevated role in the event and even has a hand in the guest list. The feud between these ladies actually happened years before in 2013 at the MTV VMAs when Katy wore the exact same Emmanuel Ungaro dress that Coco had worn to that year's Met Gala a few months before. After Perry wore the dress, Coco joked about it in an interview in a way that Perry found offensive, so they've been on bad terms ever since. When asked about why she wouldn't be attending the Met Gala back in 2017, Coco Rocha told the Post, quote, I don't know, you'll have to ask Anna Wintour that. And at number 4, Tina Fey. Tina Fey is hilarious, and she's well known for poking fun at her own celebrity and not taking herself too seriously, which aren't things that go well at the Met. After she attended the Met, she shared her experience with David Letterman in 2015. When asked if she had gone, she responded that she had, and that it was, quote, such a jerk parade, adding, quote, every jerk from every walk of life is there wearing like some stupid thing. I dragged my husband along with me, which I'm still in trouble for. But she didn't stop there. She added later, quote, if you had a million arms, all the people you'd want to punch are there. And it seems that after those comments she knew she would not be invited back, and she added, quote, clearly I'll never go again. And at number 3, Josh Hartnett. Banned is probably a pretty strong word for the treatment of Josh Hartnett. A better term would be not relevant enough to attend. And there are tons of celebrities that are not famous enough to attend because fame is always changing based on whatever project celebrity has been a part of. The biggest sting against Josh specifically is that he was shown in a documentary about the Met called The First Monday in May, wherein Calvin Klein's team called up Vogue to request a seat for Hartnett, and they harshly responded, quote, what has he done lately? Nothing. You guys are all set. Based on this response, it's clear that he's not banned for life, more so temporarily banned until he gets cast in something noteworthy. And at number 2, Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer is another celebrity that's made a name for herself by making fun of everything. But of course, making fun of the Met is gonna have some consequences. In 2016, Amy Schumer was asked about the event while on the Howard Stern show, and she said, quote, it's people doing an impression of having a conversation. I don't like the farce. We're all dressed up like a bunch of effing a-holes. Adding, quote, I have no interest in fashion, I don't care. I left earlier than I should have been allowed. I got to meet Beyonce, and she was like, is this your first Met Gala? And I was like, it's my last. So again, Amy was self-aware that she either would not be invited back, or she knew she just wouldn't attend again even if she was invited. And finally, number 1, Demi Lovato. Demi has only been to the Met Gala once, and it seems that one time might be their last, either because they won't be invited back, or Demi just won't want to go. Demi spoke about their time at the gala with Billboard and said it was a horrible experience, saying, quote, I had a terrible experience. This one celebrity was a complete bitch and was miserable to be around. It was very cliquey. I remember being so uncomfortable that I wanted to drink. This was very shocking because this was around the time that Demi was trying to get sober, and apparently the Met set her back off course. Demi added that they went straight to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting after the Met, saying, quote, I changed my clothes, but I still had my diamonds on. Millions of dollars of diamonds on an AA meeting. There was also a big scandal involving Nicki Minaj that followed the event. Nicki didn't tag Demi in a photo of them after the ball, to which Demi called her out for. This started another war, making the night even more awful for Demi than it was before.
Rest Up Fredo says, oh my god, Disney and Pixar writers are so sneaky and dirty. Yeah, you're just noticing this now? Julie Alm says, go Jocelyn, you don't take any GIF from anyone. Hell no I don't, especially when I said the word GIF right. Liverpool fan says, hi, I've got a question. Who's your favorite Marvel hero and villain? Honestly, I don't really have a favorite, but if I had to choose, my favorites are Iron Man and Black Widow. And I like Thanos as a villain, which is like the most typical response that you could have. Mama Pink says, you wear whatever you want. Way to shut down the hater. I'm new to the channel. I've seen 2 videos now and I think they are super fun. Aw, that's so nice. I'm really glad you like the channel and yes, I am all about shutting down the haters.
Bookish Raider says, love my friends and family. They're always so understanding of my hot mess and weird personality. Yes, I love that. Love your friends, love your family. If anyone's confused by this, I asked everyone in the comments to tell me who they love or someone that's really important to them because, you know, we're talking about Amber Heard and she hates everyone apparently. Folksy Girl says, I've never even heard of Amber Heard until the divorce proceedings between she and Depp. She sounds incredibly towards many people. Honestly, I didn't really know who Amber Heard was either up until, you know, all of this stuff came out about her. And even then I was like, okay, so everyone hates her. But it wasn't until I was researching this video and really going through everything that she's been accused of that I was really like, whoa, Amber Heard is kind of a horrible person. I don't know what happened to her, but my goodness, she hates everybody. But she hates them equally, which I guess that's okay. Delicia James, I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce your name, but I love your name. It is so beautiful. Anyway, Delicia James says, you guys will never get off her neck and I love it. Especially with, you know, her being in the news again with the trial ending and a new one starting up. We're never gonna stop hearing about Amber Heard for like the next year or so. So get comfy, we have more videos coming about her in the future, I'm sure.
Sean said, I'm not surprised celebs flip out on the paparazzi. Their job is to provoke them for money. I enjoy the privileges of being average. I completely agree. Paparazzi, when you're probably a little bit famous is maybe fun, but when you're really famous and they're really stalking you, that's when it's obviously, it affects your whole life negatively. Then Brian said, I met Billy Baldwin several years ago. The guy couldn't have been nicer, really chill and friendly. Oh, wow, thanks for sharing that. Then Acadian Princess said, I met Alec Baldwin, he was so mean. Love the contrast from the last comment to this one. I mean, I believe it. Then Jennifer said, if he didn't have an unkind word to say about him, isn't that a compliment? I mean, I feel like if it was a compliment, he would have instead just said something nice, but instead he was like, oh, I don't have anything bad to say about him. It's like, I don't know, I feel like that's when you say when you're just like neutral and maybe don't like someone, it's like he's, you know, faking being nice, like, oh yeah, I don't have anything to say about him, but it's like, I don't know. It's not something I would say if I liked someone. Michelle McCreary said, Mackenzie, I love how you say what you feel about something or someone. Keep it real. Thank you for your honesty. I try not to say my opinion too much because I don't think that's why a lot of people are like here for, to hear my opinion, but I try to include it if it's like, if I just can't help it, you know? Then Coco Monet said, lots of people have said way worse about George W. Bush. Why'd they make such a big deal about what the Dixie Chicks said? I think it was a mix because they were country stars and then obviously George W. Bush is very like a country guy from Texas, all that. So I think it was just that clashing of worlds. Like if a rapper said it, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it's like you're literally in country and in Texas and you're making fun of the president. I think that was more so. I also just think back in the day it wasn't as common to rag on the president. I think that's become more of a thing over time. Usually it's kind of like an esteemed thing, like you don't talk bad about the president, you know, he's leading the country, whatever, you keep your opinions to yourself. But that has really changed recently. Obviously most people just trash on the president for fun these days.